Hello.
Hello.
Hi there.
So we'll start in a few minutes, so let's wait for others.
Okay, guys, good morning.
Yes. Okay. So should we begin then? Okay. Miho cannot find the Google Doc. Shit. Okay. So sorry for the delay. Yeah. As far as I can tell, we don't have any topics in the agenda for today. At least I haven't seen any major ones. So yeah, just some news. We have accepted the CD events project to the Continuous Delivery Foundation. So now it officially becomes the incubating project. Yeah, yesterday there was CD events meeting. We discussed follow-up action items because there were some agreements reached at the previous meeting, like having roadmap and going through the post-onboarding checklist. So all of that will be handled. And as we discussed, we target public announcements in January or February. So we will follow up the rest of the team to get it happen. Okay. So any other news? Hello? Am I audible?
Yes, can hear you.
Just in case. Okay. So yeah, then let's take a look what we have on our roadmap. Yeah, so public CDF TOC roadmap is basically done. We probably need to do some announcements, but otherwise it's completed. CD Events is incubating project. It's completed on the CDF TOC side. The challenge is rather with CDF site in general, because we need to have the website updated and other things. But it's basically nothing we can do about that as CDF TOC. Should we just move it to done, or would be your preference?
I think so. I mean, from TSC point of view, it's done, as you said.
So yeah, the challenging part is to get other things done, because, for example, shipwright is still is not added to the website of the CDF. Something we can handle that. We'll close the ticket later. So joining the inclusive naming initiative, I joined a few calls last week, this week. I got a response that the inclusive naming initiative board would take a look at the issue, but so far there is no feedback. I'm not sure whether everyone has access to system. We submit enrollment lfx.org, and yeah, we are basically stuck there, but we cannot do anything on our side. So clean up the CDF landscape. We don't have Kara on the call. We had a brief conversation how would the eventing part look like at the SIG meeting yesterday. Are there any other updates we would need to discuss? So streamline, simplify, and project onboarding. We don't have Stephen on the call, Tracy on the call. All action items are currently on them. So I guess we can also move. Yeah. So regarding near-term tech and security audit, is it on this same schedule, Andrea?
Yeah, no change there.
Basically, it means February or March next year.
Yes, indeed.
So actually, funny thing that we have the same timeline for the Captain project, and basically, if I understand correctly, it's with the same outsourcer company. So let's see how it goes.
Okay, hopefully we won't steal each other resources. I don't think so.
Well, Tecton is much bigger than Captain in terms of the size, in terms of adoption and community impact. So let's see. What I know that there are other projects like OpenTelemetry waiting in the queue, from what I understood from the CDF TOC meeting, and for them it goes already overdue in terms of time. So hopefully our projects do not get pushed because, well, we have KubeCon in May, and for everyone it's interest to have these items completed by this time, and also to have some time to prepare announcement around, let's say, Tecton graduation in the CDF if it happens before KubeCon or before CDCon.
Yeah, for Tecton, even before KubeCon, I mean, we are trying to get to the V1 version of Tecton sometimes in Q1 next year. So having a security audit done be important for that as well.
So it seems to be on that schedule already. Okay, refresh the TOC contributor role is in the backlog. Eventually I will work on that. But yeah, right now there is no immediate need for that. We have the role documented. The only question is how to make it more interesting to potential contributors. I was really thinking about liaison role to make it more official, because top contributor is nothing. A representative to TOC would be better, but yeah, it's in the backlog. Transfer Jenkins X infrastructure costs, I believe no progress. We raised it to the governance board. I'm not sure whether the governance board is meeting in December. As I discovered, the CDF TOC chair is also expected to be on the CDF governance board, but the onboarding for me isn't finished yet. And yeah, I asked Tracy, I'm not sure what's going on there. So yeah, for these items, basically, I have no idea what's next. Does infrastructure budgeting and accounts impact any other projects? So it definitely impacts Jenkins, because we also need to transfer AWS accounts to the Continuous Delivery Foundation.
It does impact Tecton probably. I mean, I'm in the process of getting the data about how much is the expense for Tecton CI, because we want to recreate our cloud projects and put them in a Beleg account with the CDF. At the moment, they're not. So.
Yeah. Would it make sense to create roadmap items for that? Well, to be honest, I'm not sure whether TOC should be handling this infrastructure ownership requests at all, because there's barely anything we can do there. It's a rubber stamp and say that we agree that it gets transferred, but we own no budget for that, nothing.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, I'm following that as from a Tecton project point of view, not as TOC member specifically. So I think it's fine not to have it on the roadmap.
Well, it should be on the roadmap somewhere. So I mean, if it's not on the roadmap for the governing board, if it's not on the roadmap for TOC, it means that it's not happening, and the projects really need that.
Oh yeah, I mean, but as far as I understood, it's something that goes with the governing board for the budget approval, at least. Yeah, I mean, it's good to have clarity on this for sure.
So I would say that we do not think that TOC should own that. Is it the correct statement?
I mean, the budget approval, I think it's responsibility of the governing board. If we have extra budget and how is that used across project might be part of the TOC responsibilities, if I recall correctly.
It's not just budget. For example, AWS account, it's basically a zero cost for the Continuous Delivery Foundation, because we get sponsorship from Amazon, at least for the next year. But we need somebody to create account, to basically do all the paperwork, to coordinate with Amazon during the transition. And yeah, it's quite a work to do that.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, I'm not sure what even a technical decision we could make there. Yeah, speaking of the roadmap, we have an open question raised by Tracy. So we have a budget allocated to the TOC. So basically it's 10K for this year, which we can spend at our discretion. It's currently December 7th. So the question is whether we want to spend this budget, and if so, how.
Okay, that's interesting. Didn't realize.
Yeah, we briefly discussed it, and then basically stayed somewhere on the future on the roadmap. So I was just thinking about budgets and remembered about this item. So yeah, basically we can do many things, including just designate the project needs, invest in some technical programs, donate it if needed, maybe run mentorship, stipend, if you want to do something on the TUC level. Well, we can even print stickers for 10K if you want. But yeah, basically this is a question of what we should do with this budget.
There's not much time left.
Yeah, so whatever we do, it likely goes towards the next year. Yeah. If you have.
So you said if you don't use it, it adds on the budget for next year, or?
No, if you don't use it, it will be basically up to the governing board to decide whether they extend it for the next year or whether it just returns back. Because yeah, some projects in the CDF go over budget. For example, outreach programs traditionally. So even if we have unused budget as TUC, doesn't mean that the CDF has unused budget this year. So I guess we cannot do much today about it. But if you have any ideas, we should definitely discuss it asynchronously.
Yeah.
Yeah, so of course we can just cover some project expenses if they fall to individual contributors. If there are any expenses like that in other projects. For example, in Jenkins, we still have some items, like some of our domains are not owned by the Linux Foundation, they are owned by individuals, but we cover these costs from the Jenkins project budget, basically from donations we receive. But if there are examples for other projects when basically individual contributors have to pay, then for me, it seems to be a natural first step. So yeah, let's take it offline, but yeah, I think that's a topic we need to at least agree on. Anything else we need to discuss today? So yeah, then the question about the next TUC meeting. So it will be on December 21st. Be with us, or do we want another date?
Yeah, I just put it as a question in case if anybody is planning to take a long break during that week.
So for me, there is a problem because I have Captain user group meeting, which happens right on the same time as TOC meeting. Yeah, I am a backup host there. Plus, yeah, taking the today's meeting when basically we don't have much topics to discuss, I would rather tend to call it a year, unless we have topics we really need to cover at the next meeting. So what if we cancel then?
Yeah, the only thing I think for the budget, we might need to at least agree if we have some if there are some ideas, we might want to discuss them, or at least we should agree that we are not going to do anything with it.
But we still have 40 minutes out of this meeting, so we could just use it for brainstorming and then take it offline. So I don't think that even if we have an agreement, we need it in 2 weeks because we can approve the same through the mailing list.
Yeah, we can discuss it on the mailing list or in Slack as well. So don't necessarily need the meeting just for that.
I'm wondering if it makes sense to, this Jenkins X James, is playing, like, it's probably in progress by CDF, but I know, it's not good that he is paying from his personal account.
Yeah, I think this is something we could cover for sure, but I don't think he pays it from personal account. I can check. But yeah, if it's paid, I'm +1 for just covering that. Can we agree on that?
I think we still need some kind of quorum for that. Yeah, we can push it to mail list as an idea.
Yeah,
we don't have. Do we have quorum in this meeting?
Yeah. So, but yeah, basically, if you have consensus here, then we already have how many votes, and yeah, at least it's something from where we can start talking. I still need to confirm with James whether it's personal account or not. Another thing we could do is probably LFX mentorship. So let's say we have CD events as a new project. So maybe as TOC, we could allocate, let's say, stipend for whatever intern to work on this project, let's say on documentation, basically on whatever. But the question is, if we do something like that, would we have somebody to mentor, and whether it would actually help this project? Andrei, what do you think?
Yeah, well, I think in general, I mean, it could be helpful to help the projects, CD events, but all the projects do things like align to the CII badge and things like that. But yeah, so I think in the short time frame, it's going to be difficult to find someone and start.
Well, we can allocate it for the next year. So we can say that, let's say in spring season, there would be project focused on documentation, because all projects in the CDF would be interested to adopt CD events at some point, right? So at least it seems to make sense.
Yeah, sure. I think for CD events, we need to really, work on doing some more work on the specification. There is a lot of work to do on the SDK and building better POCs or further POC compared to what we have today. So definitely we'll need documentation, and we'll need to set up the website. And so for sure, the project could benefit from help from someone working full-time or part-time on it, for sure.
Would be one of the best ways for us to spend budget. So maybe I will propose it in the same voting, because lump of bonus to project budgets kind of seems interesting. At the same time, not all projects have budgets at all, so it wouldn't be a kind of fair distribution. And how to distribute fairly is also a wide open question. So I wouldn't really do that. And we could also dedicate it to travel grants, but we have no idea whether the next CDCon will be in person or not. So it also doesn't seem to be in a great way. Basically, my suggestion would be to nominate these two items. Is anyone against that or have reservations about that? So does it work for everyone?
Yeah, they work for me. We may come up with more ideas. At least these two seem reasonable to me.
Let's start from that, and I will move the discussion to the mailing list. Okay. So anything else for today? And do we cancel the next meeting then?
Yeah, I think that works for me. If there are things that we find out that there are things that we want to discuss before the end of the year, we can still have a meeting and Okay, someone else can stand in
Yeah. So
for you, but yeah.
okay. I think we have an agreement. Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Good, thank you.